Well, Spurs here, the visitors tonight, not making too many switches, but Newcastle have strength in reserve, Matt Upson. Jacob Ramsey, one of those to come in.
Yeah, it's opportunities, isn't it, at this stage of the season? You might not have played that many games, but it's a chance to get into the team and stake a claim. And I think Ramsey is in that kind of position. He's done okay since being at Newcastle, but he'll want to confirm that he should be in that Premier League starting lineup. And this man in particular, who for me hasn't really hit his rhythm at all in a Spurs shirt, did brilliantly at Leipzig last season, but not quite hitting that form. An opportunity to show he can create, he can perform at the top level, and I think he's going to have to do that in order to maintain his place in the starting 11 for Spurs.
Well, with this home game coming very close to Remembrance Sunday, Newcastle United are going to pay tribute here tonight to those people who have sadly lost their lives in conflict over the years. Always a poignant time of year here in England. Representatives from the country's military and navy as well, making their way out onto the field here ahead of kick-off. Kick-off here, there will be a period of silence as well as the last post. Wreath Slades on the playing surface here at St James's Park, as we remember those who have lost their lives in conflict over the years. All of the players wearing shirts with poppies emblazoned on them as well, which will be auctioned off for charity. Perfectly observed, a few moments of silence there here at St James's Park. The Carabao Cup taking centre stage this midweek across the country. Night 2 of the action here at St James's. The draw for the quarter-finals follows this fixture as well. Two teams that celebrated trophy wins at the end of last season, but will there be further success this time around? After victories against third-tier opposition in round 3, it's an all-Premier League affair here to see who makes tonight's quarter-final draw 2 hours from now. Tottenham in their change kit tonight of yellow with blue trim. It's the black and white stripes for Newcastle. And I'm delighted to say alongside me for this one here tonight is former Premier League winner Matt Upson. Well, Spurs don't really have the luxury of Newcastle right now in terms of the changes, but might that play in their favour given they've got a very strong side out there?
Yeah, it could do. I mean, they had a hard-fought match at Everton on Sunday, and they've had to adjust. Paulinho will drop back into that defensive role. And I think it's just all about Spurs just controlling the game a little bit. They don't have a great record here of late. It's not been a happy ground for Spurs players, so they want to give a good account of themselves and just be solid to begin with.
First League Cup meeting between the sides since Spurs beat Newcastle 4-0 in the quarter-finals in December 2014. As Matt was just saying, this is one of the stadiums they've lost at in each of the last 3 seasons. Along with Anfield and Molineux as well. They don't travel well to this part of the country. Here's João Paulinho to Pedro Porro. A nicely weighted ball. Ramsdale comes well off his line, but saw off the danger in the end.
I mean, he's going to play a big part tonight with his passing, usually sat in the midfield area. We know how good he is with the ball, but he's a cracking tackler as well, which is why he suits dropping back into that centre-back position. But look at Simmons as well. He's actually playing quite central for Spurs. I thought he'd be a little bit wider. Have to wait and see what their real shape is, but he's certainly got more of a central role, which probably suits him as well.
Danso's header down, falls to Voltemade, and tonight's referee, Chris Kavanagh, gives Newcastle the free kick. Everyone was looking forward to seeing how Voltemade was going to slot into this Newcastle side. The man who looks like he should be an out-and-out number 9, but often plays in the pockets behind.
He's had a good start, hasn't he? It can't be easy coming in, filling the shoes of Isak, and everything around that whole transfer was quite traumatic for the club. He's come in and done a really good job to begin with.
4 Premier League goals, their top scorer domestically, and has chipped in with 1 in the Champions League so far as well. So free kick here with little angle on it for Newcastle. I'd imagine they'll work it into some of wide space. Sandro Tonali standing over it. Elanga has pace. Might have the cross. Saying it should be his ball there, Jed Spence, but it's a throw to the home side.
He needs a bit more productivity from me. Elanga was in the Premier League starting 11, and a player that came to the club wanted to get him in the team, but I think Murphy has just got the edge on him at the moment. So this is a big night for Elanga to play well.
Porro just about eases it away, but not very far. Tonali. The share back to Tonali and by Ramsey. Outside starting well here. Alec Chow to Dan Burn, the captain tonight. One's taken down, free kick. At the moment at least, Spurs pinned inside and around the edge of their own penalty area.
Just got completely sold by the little shimmy there. Poirot's clumsy tackle on Harvey Barnes.
So a free kick which Tonali will take again, but a crossing chance this time. It's become a key cog in this Newcastle midfield over the last several months now. Italy international ready to deliver. Newcastle will have plenty of runners. Tonali deep. Chow across, spilled by the goalkeeper Kinski. Elanga sets it, and it was hit there by Joe Willock. Still a chance maybe. João Paulinho nips in, away by Spence. Spurs continue to have to defend their box, but very close to conceding the opening goal.
Well, Newcastle got some serious height in the team, haven't they? But Spurs weren't particularly good in just getting their organisation there. I mean, watch them warming up, practicing a lot of set plays, these kind of situations. The first test really didn't go that well.
Barnes. Ball was there, but he's lost it and is out of position now as well. A chance for Brennan Johnson. He has to reassess. Spurs 4-time winners of this competition, but not since 2008 when they beat Chelsea in the final. Newcastle, of course, have made the final in 2 of the last 3 seasons and were victorious at Wembley against Liverpool back in the spring. Xavi Simons, he's Byrne, and then recovers. Simons. Joao Palhinha. Porro. Simons, space far side. Well, the ball was quite something. A long diagonal it should have been. How close were Newcastle here?
Yeah, I mean, they just lose Thiaw at the back post. He drifts out there. They're a little bit at 6 or 7s at that point, and Palhinha has to come out and get the block for the shot. He just puts his arm straight behind his back. It may even hit Sarr actually just before Palhinha. But not a great first set play from Tottenham to defend.
Barnes. Tonali. Nicely weighted ball. It nearly came through there for the one-run surrey of Willock. Spence. Kinski away. Plenty of other Carabao Cup action across the country tonight. Arsenal taking on Brighton, Liverpool facing Crystal Palace, Swansea up against Manchester City, and Wolves playing Chelsea as well. Newcastle starting quick. Eddie Howe has assembled such a strong athletic team here at St James's Park. They really do get after you, and the crowd love it on nights like this.
Loves his competition as well, doesn't he? Eddie Howe really enjoys it. He's got a great record with Newcastle.
Eddie Howe became the first Newcastle manager to win a major trophy since Joe Harvey in 1969. The first to win a domestic trophy since Doug Livingston back in 1955. A chance here. They go there through Ramsey, who was looking for his first goal for the club. Richarlison slipping and sliding. Barely had a touch so far and didn't make the most of that one there.
Well, I just think Ramsey has an opportunity here to pull the trigger. Lovely first touch from Byrne. Just here now, he has that extra little delay, which gives Poirot the chance to get back and get a block in. He does well in the end, the defender, but for me, should maybe pull the trigger a little bit earlier.
There was a crowd to fire through, but worth taking your chance. Spence, a jinking run, Richarlison. Has the pace to get away here, Richarlison. Alex Chow with a crunching block. And really trying to rouse the Gallagher end behind the goal as well.
If you want to get a stadium up on their feet, make blocks and tackles like this, brilliantly timed. Anticipates the shot from Richarlison. I think it's a hopeful effort really from that angle, but why not have a go? But it's a brilliant tackle. Look, really enjoying it with his home crowd.
Now the summer signing from Milan, £30 million they put down for him.
Money well spent for me. He's been excellent.
A solid acquisition. A long throw here from Spurs. Plenty of those this season. No harm done. Sarr the closest to it. No surprise that set pieces are a big part of everything that Thomas Frank does. How would you assess his start to life in North London with Spurs?
I think he's made Spurs a respectable Premier League outfit, which they weren't last season. And he's brought a bit of kind of stability. They're much more solid, a bit more pragmatic. I think they're still looking for that kind of X factor and that sparkle. A few players to come back in like Kulusevski and Solanke, but I think he's had a very good start to his time at Spurs.
He's lost Maddison for the season due to his knee injury. Ben Davies out, Dragoshin, Solanke, Udoji, Romero, Kulusevski as well, who's such a big part of their side. They're without some of their star performers right now. They've only lost 1 game since the end of August. Too many draws in there for these Spurs fans liking.
Sitting 3rd in the Premier League is a fantastic start, really, given their form last season was dismal. At home, I think they can improve. I think that's still a little bit of a problem. On the road, they're doing very well.
They're unbeaten in 7 away games in all competitions. They've won 4 of 5 played in the Premier League, including the win at Everton on Sunday. A couple for Mickey van der Ven and Hotspur also scoring a minute from time. But this is a different proposition. Voltemada. By Bentancur. Voltemada. Chow. Burn. Outside dominating possession in the early exchanges. Tonali, Elanga, Voltemada, smart turn, and the ball's on to Barnes! Oh, so many times in that position you'd see Harvey Barnes shift it and go across goal. Pulled it near post on this occasion, and failing to hit the target.
Big miss, really big miss from Harvey Barnes. Look at that. Lovely footwork and awareness from Voltemada, and you're spot on. He's got to go the other side. 9 times out of 10 you'd expect him to do that. I actually think he wants to do that, but he just doesn't execute it. It comes off his heel a little bit there. Harvey Barnes doesn't get the quality of contact on the ball. Should be 1-0, but the feet and awareness from Voltemada just shows you, you know, for such a big player, he's got a lovely light touch with his foot.
Willock loses it. Bentancur challenged by Voltemada, who showed his delicate touch in the build-up to that move. Bergvall. Porro. Too pointed with his ball forward.
I think Paulinho showed his kind of midfielder mind there as well. It wasn't very kind of centre-back-like. He just dived in a little bit there with Voltemada, allowed him to get the other side of him. Just gambled a little bit too much right on the edge of the box.
Chow. Share. Big switch to Big Dan. Here is Burn. Just a swing, a good ball in there. Willock joining the attack again. There's one thing that Newcastle are doing in this game is getting bodies into the box when the ball goes in there.
What a ball from Dan Burn. Everyone expected that kind of quality of delivery, but he really wrapped his left foot around that one.
Elanga. They try and swing through. It's a goal kick. Spence said it went back off him last, and the assistant referee on that side, Richard West, agreed.
There you go, Burn will show you how to cross the ball. There you go. Look at the area it's in. Brilliant, just perfect for someone to attack, but Voltemada just a little bit deeper.
Goal kick here for Spurs, which they actually take short through Danso and Kinski. Straight back here to the home side. Try and make this place a fortress, but they have already lost twice here this season in the league. One of those, both of those were very late on against Arsenal and Liverpool.
The side of the pitch from a Spurs defensive perspective, not really sure who's manning that side there. There's a little bit of interchange. Bergvall's over there, Richarlison's dropping over there. Simmons has got that free role. He's been very central. Not quite seeing how defensively they're going to back up Spence, really. That might be a little area for Newcastle to exploit over the far side.
Kinski with a delightful clip there into Richarlison. Xavi Simons. Richarlison ahead of him. Johnson now. Totally miscued. Really a first chance that Johnson's had to express himself in that kind of area and totally messed things up.
That look of anguish on his face, knows wasn't his best moment here. Brennan Johnson, he's got time just to maybe have a touch, pick his spot, just totally miscues.
Chow. Ramsdale. Voltemada. Ramsey. Barnes. Quite squeeze it back there to Jacob Ramsey, who goes flying into Joao Paulinho, the Bayern Munich loanee. As a former centre-half yourself, if you have a central midfielder dropping into play alongside you, how are you feeling, how are you thinking, how are you coaching him through it?
Yeah, I think you've just got to be aware of certainly with someone like Paulinho, he's the type of midfield player that goes after the ball. And as a centre-back, a lot of time you've got to just hold your position and just weigh it up. So I think just keeping him nice and tight to you and just talking to him, not allowing him to get too tight like he did with Voltemada there on the edge. He just gambled a little bit. Can't afford to do that as a centre-back in those positions.
Willock, Elanga, Tonali, busting a gut to get there from midfield. Sandro Tonali, it's a corner. The first of the game.
Newcastle asking the question. They've started brilliantly. Great intensity to their play at home, in front of the home crowd. Feels a great atmosphere. They're not disappointed with the pressure. Another opportunity to swing one in here. Look at the height Newcastle have. Burn, Thiaw, Shah, Voltemada. They really should dominate these set plays.
And Newcastle, who have been on top. A chance here from this set piece. Tonali towards Barnes, who was running from the edge of the D. Simons. Throw here. Burn is going to take. Chow. Elanga. Willock. Kraft by Danso. Kraft. Foul with a scoop into the edge. Well, Paulinho with a header. Richarlison. Simons can't get there. Spurs just having to hang on in there at the moment. Newcastle just keep on coming. Johnson. Simons, caught by Ramsey. Well, in only 15 minutes of the game, only 7% of the action was in the Newcastle defensive third. Started here with a lot of energy in their play. Simons struggling to get a grip at the moment.
Just seemed a little bit quicker into the tackle, Newcastle. A little bit sharper onto the loose balls, really testing his team in the opening 20 minutes.
Thomas Frank there was the man in charge when Eddie Howe had his first game here with Newcastle, when Frank was in charge of Brentford back in November 2021. It's 3-3, a result that left Newcastle bottom of the Premier League. Barnes. Johnson. Burn. Chow. Share into Elanga. From him that wasn't expected. Newcastle overall looking sharp, aren't they?
They are, yeah. A little bit of an inquest there between Willock and Elanga. Well, maybe a little bit too long, but Elanga hasn't produced the kind of quality that maybe he needs to. Something he's working on, but Eddie Howe will be really pleased with this start. I mean, it's been intense. They've been first into everything. They're applying the pressure. They're moving the ball quickly.
Share nods out of play. Kraft, I beg your pardon. Spurs do have a good record in this competition overall. They've reached the semi-finals in 4 of the last 7 seasons. But they have lost each of their last 3 appearances at the Final Four stage. Of the Europa League last season. That is the prize on offer for the winner of this competition this season. Johnson. Close enough to Richarlison. Throws his arms up in the air. He's too happy with the service that he's had or hasn't had so far, as the case may be. Porro. Spurs slowly making their way forward here, but very slowly. Dancer. To Joao Palhinha, trying to hit Richarlison quickly, who came from an offside position. His body language not great so far.
No, not impressed. You know, it's been a tough start for Tottenham. Newcastle done well. You need your number 9 to really start to get hold of the game. And his body language and facial expression is telling me everything opposite, really.
One goal for Richarlison in his last 16 games for club and country. Hasn't been on a great run. We're not always a starter in this Spurs side.
Enjoying watching Fabian Schär back at Newcastle, though. He's a fantastic user of the ball. Look at that. I mean, his passing is one of the best about in the Premier League for sure. As a centre-back, he's so good with the ball.
Elanga, Kraft, Elanga, taken away by Danso, right in front of the goalkeeper, Kinski. I think he's suggesting there he felt he had to take action.
Well, if you're in doubt, just deal with it. And he did exactly that. No second thoughts in that area of the pitch. If you can get to the ball and you can clear it, always best to do it. You can always have a debate about it afterwards.
There's a boot malfunction here for Jed Spence. Job it's not too cold yet, or he might not be able to do the laces back up. We've all been there.
What, in your pink pair of boots? You're more traditional black.
Black these days, but they were a shade of white and gold way back when. Okay. Tonali, free header down! Goes from Fabian Schär. He scored twice in this competition en route to victory last season and has just powered the Magpies in front here at St James's.
Well, you felt the set plays were going to play a crucial part in this game. You saw it early on, the very first one. Tottenham looked a little bit shaky. Jed Spence not quite back in position yet, maybe, from tying his boot. But just as I mentioned, maybe a Schär, enjoying seeing him back on the pitch. He comes in unmarked, rises above everyone. It's a pretty simple free header, if I'm honest. Tottenham don't make any contact. No one's up against him. Nobody competing for that ball. Schär takes full advantage.
Well, Spurs leaving massive gaps there, and Fabian Schär could not believe his luck, the veteran defender. Hasn't played too much this season. He started the first 5 games, but has been a sub just twice since then. It looks like there's been a yellow card dished out in the aftermath of that goal as well. Guess who for? Richarlison.
I mean, his attitude and body language has not started well in this game at all. I mean, not sure about having a go at the referee to kind of concentrate on getting hold of the ball and getting Spurs into this game, because it's been a rocky start for them.
Spurs now have to chase it. No extra time on the menu tonight, straight to pens if we're level at the end of the 90. Spence. Bergvall. Sarr. Simons. To really make an impact here tonight. He got an assist on his debut, but hasn't chipped in an assist or a goal since then. Spurs have a throw. They start further down the field than they have been here. Balls in the field, so having to act as ball boy as well. Spence now getting in the ear of referee Chris Kavanagh. Pedro, the captain, is telling Danso to take his time. Stand by. We go for liftoff. Or maybe not. As far as long throws go, that wasn't one of the best ones.
We can class that one as a long throw. Just really dipped low, just into the 18-yard box.
And down Bafouta Ramsdale. In an era now where just about every club has a long throw taker, it does seem like some sides are trying to force it upon some players who maybe don't quite have it in their locker. Willock has done really well. A chance for two. Doesn't quite fall for Barnes. Burn, Barnes. Still Harvey Barnes. Burn. Showing maybe why he's not a flying winger.
João Paulinho just having a bit of a go at the assistant referee. We felt there was an offside there or not, but he's found it very difficult in that centre-back position. Newcastle really trying to exploit him one-on-one in and around the box, hoping he'll make a rash decision.
Foul on Richarlison. The goal scorer, Fabian Schär. Is that just rank bad defending for that goal? Are they set up, do you think, in the positions they've been instructed to be in? Because for any layman watching, that just looks so simple from a Newcastle point of view. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny how we were watching them in the warm-up and they were actually going through these defensive drills. We were discussing the benefits. Well, it's all very well kind of knowing what position you're in, but ultimately, your defence set plays. Who's got the desire to want to go and head the ball? You know, you can be a little bit out of position, but if you're competing well, and you're being aggressive in your own box, you've got a chance of winning it. That didn't look like an aggressive, competitive effort from the defensive set play of Spurs in that moment, and Newcastle comfortably took advantage.
Bergvall trying to run on. Ramsdale comes out. Chests and a kick away. Did the job in the end.
He might just find the pass here as well. Takes it on the chest, yeah. No risks, this one. Let's not don't get your head up and even have a look to find a pass there. Let's just clear the ball. At least it's in the stand and into safety.
It's back with Antonin Kinski. Was thrust into action after he signed from Slavia Prague back in January. He made one appearance so far this season.
In a time where literally the Spurs was a real baptism of fire, wasn't it, for Kinski?
Tonali, Voltemara. These sides fighting across multiple fronts this season, both in the Champions League as well, and have picked up victories in their opening 3 games. Next round of that competition to come this time next week. Newcastle have Athletic Club of Spain coming here, while and have Danish opposition in North London with Copenhagen the visitors. Simons. Richarlison trying to make a run ahead of him. Spence well advanced. In towards Bergvall, but too high for him, and Byrne watches it go.
Well, Bergvall was actually in a really good spot there to win that header, but I think we have another little look at the goal. Let's look at Spence coming back in. I think that's a point maybe that Richarlison was making to the referee, that the players weren't set and ready for that set play. and that Spence was out of position.
It's a pointless argument on two fronts, really. One, because VAR can't rule on restarts, and two, because there's no VAR. Richarlison said one too many words out of line. Spence switches it through to Kinski.
I suppose ultimately you have to adapt. You've just kind of got to identify the fact that Spence is out of position, right? Who's dropping into his hole? Who's going to go and head the ball? Whether Spence was there or not, it wasn't a set play that was defended fiercely from Tottenham.
In the opening half hour here, Spurs have only had one shot, and it had an XG of 0.02. And go for it, maybe just slightly behind the Brazilian. Spence goes down, no free kick. Tottenham surely not too far away from making it 1-1. And now instead a counter hit. Elanga stretches those legs. Danso fouling him. Free kick Newcastle. And a yellow card to follow as well.
Well, the Spurs players are just furious they didn't get the free kick at the other end with Spence. But Danso certainly there does use his upper body from behind. It's not like it's shoulder to shoulder and you're fairly jostling for the ball. Elanga just gets the edge on him for pace. Yellow card's out again.
But it wasn't for Danso. Seems to be for dissent, actually.
Like Pedro Porro getting that yellow card. But this, by far, the best move of the game for Tottenham. Lovely football. And Richarlison just too far ahead of the ball. Needs to put the brakes on a little bit and just wait to see. You can always come onto that ball, but once you go past it, can't change direction quick enough. This is trouble.
Given what we've seen already, certainly. Well, only Arsenal have a tighter defence than Spurs in the Premier League so far this season. So now they've only let 3 goals in 5 away games domestically. They've conceded already. Tonali. A safe pair of hands from Kinski. Confirmation of that yellow card for João Palhinha. Bopa. Xavi Simons is the man in the middle this time. Spurs with 4 ahead of the ball here. Quite caught out, well intercepted by Pedro Porro. Spence. Xavi Simons. Spence. Change of direction. Simons. Bentancur. Bergval. Johnson. And Richarlison stretching this time. No contact from the Brazilian. But signs of encouragement at least for Thomas Frank and his side.
Spurs creeping into this game. Gradually, but with some real quality play. Lovely passing to get it out to Johnson. I like the fact he's got his head up and he wants to wrap that ball into that area. Richarlison not far away from making contact, but much more encouraging from Tottenham. Here's the descent from Palhinha. I think it's aimed at the assistant. That's been fed back to the referee, because it looked like Poirot who was going to get the yellow card, who's with the referee, but he's clearly not happy with the way Palhinha ran over to him.
So discipline letting Spurs down so far on the yellow card front. Danso as well to ease away there from Anthony Elanga. Spence, Danso, Kraft, Tonali. I'm just starting to show 1 or 2 signs, but Newcastle really should have this game in their grip. 10 minutes to grab another goal before half-time. It's loose from Chow. Sa. Spence. Looking lively. Xavi Simons. Looking weak.
Got to get onto that pretty quicker. Way too easy. Or will it just to muscle him off? Too quick and too strong for Simmons there.
A shot on target for Tottenham so far, just one attempt overall, and that came relatively early on. Spence, Bergvall. Hotspur, who played more games than any other player of the club last season. Availability good at the moment for him as well. He's come on in the last 4 games, but gets an opportunity to start here tonight. Bergvall. Deft touch on here to Spence. Tonali, is he caught? Well, he stays down. Bergvall skips off the boot there of Ramsey. No cost though to his side. Quite a storm that Newcastle are weathering here, but certainly a period of dominance for the away side.
Yep. Referee's letting a few tackles go. I don't mind that one. Sar's going in to win that. Gets a big toe on the ball. Yes, there's a bit of follow through onto Tonali, but perhaps Sar's well within his rights to go for that.
Burn. His body well there. Barnes. That's 1, 2, but not a third. Kinski. Charlison beaten to by Cher. Charlison. Johnson, who has Pedro Porro galloping on the outside. His cross nodded away by Byrne. Danso is going to hit it here, straight at the goalkeeper. Well, things suddenly opened up there for the Austria international. Didn't quite have the finesse to guide it into the far corner.
It wasn't just a hit, was it? It was a, I'm going to place this in the top corner. Really tried to open his body out and beat Ramsdale with a bit of finesse.
Hasn't scored yet for Spurs, Kevin Danso. Enjoying a run in the side, the best that he's had since he first joined the club. Chow. Barnes. It's the give and goes, but a challenge coming across from Joao Palhinha.
They read it well. Too easy to get into Barnes there. Thiaw drove all the way with the ball and then just popped one pass off, and it just looked like it was open for Barnes to exploit.
Dan Burn with a long one. There towards Chow. Barnes. Elanga. Tonali. It's not a bad ball. Chow miss kicks, and then what a save over the top to deny Barnes. Well, it hit something on the way through. Spurs have the decision, but Newcastle coming close to number 2.
Yeah, I think this one just rattles off. Lovely ball back in from Tonali. The run is there. You think that that was an effort on goal, possibly. As that comes back through, or whether or not he's tried to pick Barnes out there, I'm not too sure from Thiaw. But very acrobatic, just can't get over the top of the ball.
So a free kick to Tottenham after the foul on Richarlison. I wouldn't say has massively enjoyed this first half for a number of reasons. There's an away striker coming here, you know you're in for a battle no matter what combination of backline you come up against.
Certainly not looking like he's having a great time, is he?
It's not something good to watch on the way home. Needs something to brighten up his night. Like the 5-hour journey by car that the fans will be making after this one, and enduring a very late finish well into Thursday morning. It will be an hour or so flight down, you would imagine, for the players straight after this. Chow. There's Frank trying to get this ball back into play as quickly as possible. What do you think he'll have on that notepad ready for half-time at the moment?
To do more with the defensive set plays, for sure. They've looked a little bit vulnerable, but I think it's more about the movement and the getting on the ball in these kind of situations as well. I mean, they've had 2 or 3 nice build-ups and opportunities that they've developed, but from an attacking sense, will certainly want a little bit more from his team.
Chow. Cher, who has Newcastle in front. Voltemada, who's not really had a touch in the last 15 or 20 minutes, really. A rare involvement for the German there. And again. Kraft. They're assembling in the middle now. Elanga, Voltemada loses his footing. The referee signalling low penalty, but I think it was a slip from him more than anything. Free kick to Spurs.
The 2 Newcastle centre-backs are getting super tight to Richarlison when these balls pop out. There's Tonali coming in just behind Voltemada. He wants him to leave it, doesn't give him a shout. Would have probably been the better option, but great reaction from Sharp. Once that gets played into him, he's so tight to Richarlison, trying to go through in between his legs to win the ball.
Spence flying down that left side again, as he's been doing all night when given the chance. And a free kick there. It does have a certain old school feel to it. High tempo, high physicality, and the referee letting a few things go, as you said earlier.
Good game, isn't it? Really enjoying it. Newcastle having a right go and Spurs having to respond.
To respond here with Joao Palhinha. No space to shoot. Centre half as he is tonight, doing really well. Richarlison was in there, slipping and sliding again. Bergvall. Not by Kraft, Tonali out. And Elanga will take his time. Final minute of the first half.
They've enjoyed themselves in the first half, Newcastle, but I think it's one of those where they'd be actually quite glad to get this in at half-time, 1-0 up.
Sarr. Simons sharply gave it back to Sarr. Porro. Johnson. 2 in there, in towards Richarlison. Headed by Cher and out by Tonali. Newcastle just doing enough at the moment. Porro. Tottenham have come through their last 4 round 4 ties. That's since they lost 3-2 to West Ham in 2017. They're up against it here at the moment. The 4-time winners of this competition. Just once since the millennium. 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this half.
It's an indicator that it's a good game. The least amount of added time tells me ball's in play and players are getting on with the game and the referee's not having to do too much.
Simons taken out by Chow. He's going to get a yellow, the first Newcastle player to do so.
Just gets lured in here a little bit. The way that Simons allows that ball to run across his body, just catches Thiaw out, and then it's a very late tackle.
When you talk about a short amount of added time, there has been talk in the last couple of days after a statement by IFAB, the lawmakers of the game, that they are going to be looking at possibly introducing further added time for stoppages at throw-ins, free kicks, goal kicks, and adding on those as well to deter teams from taking too long. You've already seen the goalkeepers have a strict 8 seconds this season now to release the ball. And so in towards Richarlison. The chance he's been waiting for, straight at Ramsdale.
His first real chance on target. He just gives Dan Burn a little nudge in the back there. Burn complaining. I think he's well within the limits of what's acceptable. Just heads it straight at Ramsdale.
Willock. Newcastle with 30 seconds to double their lead before the break. Tonali. Sloppy there from Elanga. Simons caught by Tonali. Bergvall. The North Londoners not waiting around here. Time against them in the first half at least. Xavi Simons. Bergvall. Xavi Simons will go for goal again. And over it goes, though he thought it got a touch. The referee didn't agree. And that will just about be half-time.
I looked a definite touch for me. Just a skim of the fingers there from Ramsdale. You saw the little adjustment of the ball.
The deviation over the top. Should have been a corner. Spurs protesting about that, but they have work to do. 1 goal in what has been a non-stop first half. A header from Fabian Schär at a corner as Tottenham failed to pick him up as he came flying into the area. Newcastle have hit the bar since then through Harvey Barnes, Danso and Simons, as we just saw, have come close for Spurs, but they have been second best so far. Half-time here in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. It is Newcastle United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Welcome back to St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at half-time here in the Carabao Cup. Magpies looking to defend their crown. Won against Liverpool earlier this year. Second step along the road for 2025-26. Charlison will be hoping to have a better second half here for Spurs. Looks like it's as you were as we prepare to restart here. Two teams going with the same 11s. For Newcastle, Matt Upson is about getting that second goal ASAP.
Yeah, I think so, but also just getting a little bit more in control of the game. They started to lose their grip last 10 minutes of the first half. Credit to Spurs, they got back into it, started to control a lot of the possession. Can't give Spurs too much of the ball, Newcastle, because they have got quality players that can hurt them.
Newcastle have won each of the last 3 meetings and 5 of the last 6 as well. Tottenham have been on the end of some big beatings here. They lost 4-0 in 2024 and 6-1 in 2023. Stellini's final game in his short spell in charge of the club. No foul. Sarr. Sarr out to Spence against Kraft. Altamara giving chase to Joao Palhinha. He found himself doing a pirouette.
Both teams really pressing in quite high, aren't they? Newcastle, all midfield players going all the way in to win the ball.
Burn. Barnes. Nicely flighted, chance for 2-0, and it should have been off the head of Willock as well. He stands there in disbelief as to how he sent that one well away from goal.
He's looking at Voltemada here as if to say, why don't you get on the end of it? But I just think he really mistimes the header. Is he caught in two minds here, Willock? I don't think he's trying to find Voltemada. I think he's more maybe trying to score, but technically he just gets the header all wrong. It ends up right in between. Great chance.
Is he clutching at straws there by sending his arms out to say, where were you?
Where were you? I think he was waiting in the middle for the header. I mean, it's probably quite hard to take the pace and guidance off that for a pass to Voltemada. Maybe the go at goal was the better option for Willock. I just think he was just caught between the two.
He did score against Spurs 2 months into his Newcastle career. Back in April 2021. One ended 2-2 that day. It's the same here tonight, or a draw of any description. Goes to a penalty shootout. Spence with the header. Kraft, was that handball? Finish off target anyway, and the whistle goes from Chris Kavanagh. Just cushioned it down, didn't he?
Definite touch of the left arm, forearm, just to control that ball. Referee right on top of it.
Newcastle fans have enjoyed some good times here in this competition under Eddie Howe. 18 games he's had in this tournament. He's only lost twice. And one of those, if you can count it as such, was on penalties. Spurs with Charlison. Stopped there by Chow.
Spurs that really win the ball back well there in the midfield, and Newcastle very open and split, as if they're comfortable in possession. That turnover really could have hurt them.
From Spurs' point of view, they don't have too much to look to on their bench tonight with so many players missing. Gray adding to the injury list yesterday in training as Voltemada have secured Newcastle's passage through. It's Big Nick for the Magpies. And that second goal might just round things off. A troubled start to the second half for Spurs. And Voltemada, who surprisingly for a man of his size, isn't amazing in the air, got his angles right that time.
Well, Spurs have just struggled with balls into the box all evening, but it's Kinski this time. Where's he going? Danzo turning around, having a look at him, saying, where are you going? Just stay on your line, let me deal with this. And that header is going plumb into your gloves, but he makes the decision to come and deal with it. From then on, Voltemada doesn't have to do a lot, just get the contact, hit the target. 2-0 Newcastle.
Setanta power sliding his way towards the corner flag. His 6th goal in his last 9 games. Exactly the kind of finishes that persuaded Newcastle to part with such a big sum for his signature in the summer. He won the DFB Pokal, the German Cup, with Stuttgart last season and scored every single game he played in that competition, 5 in 5. It's his first in the League Cup here in England.
I think he's had a cracking start to his time at Newcastle, I really do. Huge pressure on his shoulders, he's coping well.
Elanga. Spence able to position himself well to bring it away. He's done really well, trying to take on one too many. Willett. Ramsey.
Newcastle have out-hustled Tottenham at times. Really industrious display from Eddie Howe's men.
Tamada, Tonali, Ramsey, quite the ball that Barnes was hoping for.
That one slipped in between the full-back to get behind.
Barnes. Ramsey. Brought up to Tyneside from Aston Villa in the summer. Burn. Barnes have gone one way, but has to check and go the other. It might win the corner, but goal kick given.
Well, looked a corner to me. Listen to the noise around St James's now. Crowd really getting behind their team. It's the last touch there, maybe off Barnes actually. Morrow just kicks it onto Barnes.
Simons. Charlotte in a wrestling match in the middle. Free kick here to Spurs.
The referee took his time. Didn't look like he was going to give this. Had a little debate. Thought he would. There's enough there. Grabs hold of the shirt. Simmons probably could carry on, but appeals to the referee and gets his wish.
Tonali takes up his position to defend. Tottenham have only had 2 shots on target so far. They've already scored 5 from set pieces this season, 29% of their this campaign. They only scored 11 in the whole of last season under Ange Postecoglou. They've got something here. By Porto, Richarlison coming in at the far stick, double punch away by Ramsdale.
And a big part of those set-piece goals from Tottenham, though, is Mickey van der Ven. 5 goals this season.
Yeah, twice a scorer on Sunday on Merseyside. The Tottenham group assembling at the far post here. Frank puts a lot of time and energy into set pieces. It's something he believes in strongly. Well, they group around Ramsdale, in by Pedro Porro. This is through was Richarlison. Kept in play there by Spurs, but representing it to Newcastle. The ball was on through the middle, but Ramsey took his time. Now Burn. He's lost it. Side can't afford complacency to set in here. Poor ball by Xavi Simons. Really poor. Just when his side needed him to weight that one perfectly, they could have been in.
Yeah, as the weighted pass wasn't quite right.
Well, Nick Voltemade, the man they love here these days. A former hero. Prime Premier League top scorer Alan Shearer. He left the picture there, enjoying his night. Side sting by the looks of things. We saw Madonna at Chelsea a few weeks ago. The world's pop stars assembling across the Premier League venues right now. Johnson. Going through to Spence on the other side, but Elanga trying to clear up, but it wasn't great. Simons trying to unlock the back door. Richarlison down. Oh, and Sarr just came in too quickly. Voltemade. Tonali. Voltemade. How's that for a ball? Willock. It's Burn who's busting the gut to get up alongside him here. Voltemade there as well. Still Willock. And still.
I've never seen Voltemade run so quick to get back in support of that lovely pass that he plays through to Willock. Just bides his time there, knows the opportunity's there, but doesn't rush it. Filters it right into his path. And then breaks his neck to get in the box. Willock just can't get his head up really and find that ball.
Yellow card out here. Another booking, the fourth of this game now.
That's been coming. Two centre-backs have really tried to rough Richarlison up this evening. Shah there with a silly yellow card, really. It's a nothing ball. Doesn't need to make that kind of contact, doesn't need to give that foul and get booked in that area of the pitch.
Just looking, it's good of Sting to be with us here tonight. He's got a couple of gigs at the Hard Rock in Hollywood next weekend. Then he's in Tampa and Jacksonville, Atlantic City. He's touring around the US, but here on Tyneside tonight for this Carabao Cup tie.
Up in his lookalike.
I hope we haven't sold it to the wrong person. We did both look at each other and now, is that Sting?
It looked like Sting, didn't it?
For the purposes of this, it is Sting. If you're watching Sting, then apologies.
I'm going to say his next gig's in Newcastle upon Tyne.
It would have made sense.
It would have done.
Free kick to Newcastle. And just with that second goal have made things slightly easier for themselves here. Moments before scoring that goal, I was about to say what they had on the bench, and it's Matis Tel and Mohamed Kudus, as well as Randall Culamurani, they'd be looking to, really. A number of youngsters among the subs, apart from those. He comes here to Langa. Danso did enough. Willock. Barnes called for it. Willock didn't deliver.
There's always going to be a big ask for Spurs.
Tonali, Ramsey, Burn. Tonali, Voltemade. He's normally good in tight spaces, but that is shin kicked there, I think, by Danso.
A good little follow through in the challenge from Danso onto the shin of Voltemade. But I was saying it's it's going to be a hard ask for Tottenham. I mean, to play that Sunday game, you're the later kick-off away at Everton, and then to come back up here for a Wednesday game of this intensity, there was going to be big changes.
Spence charging forward, releasing Johnson. Charlton in the middle, Bergvall as well as Xavi Simons, who sets it for Sarr. Great save by Ramsdale, but still alive. Cher puts it behind. Well, his chances have been limited this season, Aaron Ramsdale. Plenty thought he might come in to be the #1, but he's been a bench warmer apart from this competition. But showed smart reflexes there.
Well, we've seen him make wonder saves in the past. There's another one. Absolutely brilliant. He can only make this, Aaron Ramsdale, with this kind of anticipation. He reads the situation brilliantly. He's already travelling. He knows now that that ball's going down to his left, gets down, travelling at good speed, solid left hand to the ball. Really good save.
Come on again here, though. One-handed punch away. Johnson. By Tonali. Spurs with their tails up here. Simons flights one towards Johnson. Struggling to do too much with that.
They haven't let the heads go down after that second goal went in. Spurs are still in the game and having a go. Look at that save again, really sharp from Ramsdale. Good follow-up from Johnson as well to keep the ball alive. Just nobody anticipating that to get in the back post after.
Ramsdale the hero for now. Newcastle were the 24th team to win the League Cup when they lifted the trophy at Wembley last season, and the first to win it for the first time since Swansea City back in 2013. We've seen plenty of dominance from Manchester City in recent years under Pep Guardiola. Game earlier this calendar year. Putting that one straight out of play, and it looks like it is time for Tottenham changes. Charlton's time out there might be coming to an end.
Looks like it.
Ramsey. Burn. Barnes. Tonali. Ramsey. Newcastle so confident. Joao Polinia. And a very confident header back there by Porro. Dukinski.
Impressed with Dan Burns crossing this evening as well. He does get forward, but his couple of deliveries he's put into the box have been really good level.
And so, the touch there by Bergvall, and Danso's off again. Charlton goes back one, sets his side back. Polinia. Just there by Voltemada. Spence with a rangy ball. Johnson keeping the right side of the line. Things just haven't worked out for him tonight, have they?
He's not got into the areas in behind Dan Burn, which you'd expect him to get in with the pace. He's not really asked enough of a question of Burn.
Spence. Go Benton Kerr. Benton Kerr sat the. So Kurusu has been operating centrally a little bit this season. Probably go into more natural wide berth. Johnson getting himself out of the situation and taking a fair amount of flack from the home fans on the way past. Newcastle playing off Burn. It's his nod down towards Elanga. Spence. So it looks like Kudus right, Colin Moani left, and Simons playing off for Richarlison in the middle.
Yeah. So we just probably have the two midfield players. It's been a little bit more of a 4-3-3, hasn't it, most of the game, with Bergvall just drifting over on the left, but nobody really filling that left-hand slot, which has given Xavi Simons the freedom to be central.
Well, Polinia tying himself up in knots here. Does really well to win the free kick in the end, and Voltemada walks right into the trap.
I think Voltemada was sure that was a foul. Newcastle crowd certainly didn't think so.
Almost halfway through this second half. Spence. Somehow he doesn't feel completely done at 2-0. And making those changes, it'll be interesting to see what effect they have. Poto in towards Richarlison. Another great save by Ramsdale. Voltemada tripped. The advantage looking to be played there by the referee, and it didn't materialise.
This is actually a really good touch from Richarlison. Lovely run, gets across the face of Shah. And then to get this kind of touch on the ball, just to guide it towards goal on the outside of your foot, it's not a bad effort. Improvisation from Ramsdale just to keep the ball out.
Lovely Newcastle give and go. Ramsey onto Barnes. Harvey Barnes. Still forces the corner.
There's a big anticipation from the home crowd when there's a set play. There's big changes to be made maybe before this corner.
Some big hitters coming on. Former Spurs defender Kieran Trippier, Joelinton, as well as Will Osula as well. Gallagher rises. Burnley, hometown boy, is up there among others, away by Richarlison. Burn. Told to get up by the assistant. Down in front of us, and Kudus leading the breakaway. If it was a bad ball or bad anticipation by Xavi Simons, either way they've lost it. Ilanga, urged to run by the home fans. He's doing, but gave himself a tough task. Simons finds a way out. Kudus, Poto. He's been swinging them in from all angles tonight. Pedro Poto. Bergvall. Spurs need to give themselves a foothold in this game. Joint top scorers in the Premier League this season. Moani. That's there, as Sarr tries to force it through. And so, Spence. Put it in there, palmed away by Ramsdale. Sarr. Spence. Another overhit cross. Just wondering on Jed Spence, you always see him want to come inside. Of course, right-footed left back here tonight. Are they missing a bit of natural width on that side?
Well, that's the one thing you do lose, isn't it? The ability of a fullback to go on the overlap and cross the ball on the run with that left foot. I don't think they're going to win too much in the box this evening. Every that comes in, Arsenal are dealing with.
End of the night for Nick Woltermeijer. It's his goal at the moment that looks set to seal the passage for Newcastle through to the next round in the last 8 of the competition. Instead of 5 minutes into the second half, just quieten Spurs down. Sula comes on for him up front. 2 of his 3 goals this season came against Bradford in the previous round. Eddie Howe trying to get the message across as to potential change for 1 or 2 players. Willock also off as Joelinton comes on. And Emil Kraft makes up the trio as Trippier replaces him at right back.
And they've got a strong bench this evening, Newcastle. Plenty of experience just between them. Trippier and Joelinton. Definitely in the mindset now, Eddie Howe, of seeing this game through. It's going to take something big from Tottenham to get back in this match now.
Spence trying to watch it through to Kinski, who just got there in time. Newcastle on their travels on Sunday, though you wouldn't imagine it would be too taxing affair for them as they travel to West Ham, sitting second bottom in the Premier League at the moment. Trippier. Feed it to Osula. Trippier played just over 100 times for Spurs until 2021. See, Newcastle has taken their time here, no need for them to be in a rush. See the competition logos on their shirts, etched in gold as winners of the Carabao Cup last season. Be the 5th team to win it in successive seasons. Tonali out by Sarr there. Newcastle have to start again. Langer. Shows some of that form that had Forest fans so excited last season under Nuno at the City ground. Byrne. Hoisted into a great area for Elanga, and so very nearly an own goal off Danso.
That could have gone absolutely anywhere. They have these kind of balls this evening, Spurs. But it's a lovely ball, drifted towards the back post. Does Spence completely. Langer does exactly the right thing, just put it back across that 6-yard box line, and it hits Danso. And how it's not ended up in the back of the net is just sheer luck.
Just over 15 minutes to go here. Kieran Trippier just on. Ready to swing one in. Danso. Just to get it partially clear. Trippier. And across with pace there by scorer of the first, Fabian Schär. Former Switzerland international forces another corner.
He made a good connection with that as well. Lovely technician, Fabian Schär, really good with his ball striking, accuracy. Certainly been chances in this game tonight. Tottenham, for their part, have actually had more on target, but yet to find the net. He's struggled aerially tonight, but not this time. This is out by Sarr. Ramsey with a lovely takedown, and Trippier hold the fort on halfway. Long and direct towards Byrne. His flick was crucial. Elanga. He's the first man, but not the second. It's another corner. Another situation for Elanga with not quite finding the quality in that final delivery into the box. Gets his half a yard. has the window of opportunity to put a cross in, but it just hits that near post man. Just lacking that in his game at the moment in a Newcastle shirt.
Players meeting going on. Burn at the head of the queue here. Kudus trying to join it, but Chow not too keen on that. Trippier. So again out. Ramsey miscues. And Richarlison try and set Xavi Simons away, but Tonali no slouch. See Mattis Tell in a second for Tottenham. Danso, Spence. Firmly in the England picture now. They're doing so well in England's second tier several years ago. Managed to get back into the Spurs fold, having been left out under previous regimes. To do a job with Destiny Udogie out at the moment. Bofa, Sa. Too much movement in this Spurs side at the moment. Here's Kudus. Joelinton and Byrne, the two facing him, which is a little bit of a daunting prospect. Porro. Richarlison. Well, he's had plenty of chances now, hasn't he? But all of them have been fairly easy for Ramsdale.
He's had a couple of headers on target, hasn't he? Nothing really threatening.
So aggressive. Trippier caught late by Colomwani. There's fairly limited contact there, but a free kick nonetheless. Here comes the change. Referee trying to catch his breath. It has been frantic here tonight. It's going to be Richarlison to make way. Tell comes on, the France under-21 international. Signed from Bayern Munich in the summer after a loan spell with Tottenham last season. He's only scored once in his last 18 games. Goal scoring, not totally his thing, of course, but they could do with him chipping in here. And Bruno Guimaraes as well is going to come on for Newcastle at the next break in play. Here's the switch.
You think it would be Tonali.
Substitution for Newcastle United.
Maybe not.
Sometimes impossible to guess, isn't it? It's going to be Jacob Ramsey. How's that for a luxury? 2-0 up in a cup game. And able to bring on the likes of Joelinton, Bruno Guimaraes, Trippier from the bench as well. Still without Johan Wisser, of course. Newcastle, who's out with a knee problem. They're hoping to have him back in November along with Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento.
I mean, they really have shored it up. You're now finishing the game with Guimaraes, Tonali and Joelinton. That midfield three, that golden three, really. Such a cornerstone of this Newcastle team.
Joao Polinia, Bergvall, Joelinton prowling around. Danso, Spence. Now he's going to clear long. I think Newcastle have done enough at this point.
Yes, I think they have. I think they've really earned this 2-0 lead. They've worked very hard, high intensity, really got after Spurs, not made life easy for them. And they've played to their strengths really, put balls in the box, used that threat. It's something incredibly special from Tottenham to get back in this in the next 10 minutes.
We saw a stat a few minutes ago of the shots on target in this game, 6-3 in Spurs' favour. They've lost the last 3 games here in the Premier League by a combined score of 12-2. They've conceded from 12 of 16 shots on target they faced. Newcastle have been efficient, and it seems like it's going to be a similar story here.
It's not been a happy place for Tottenham. I don't think they're going to go home happy this evening either.
Yellow for Trippier. Yellow cards are competition specific, so you can only be banned by the cautions you pick up in any given tournament. Two and a ban in this competition, for example. Ramsdale just winding down a few seconds. He carefully evades the ball that was heading towards him. Looks like it's going to be a rare blot on Thomas Frank's copybook. Be a run of 2 wins in 6 games in all competitions, but they just have to be in a position in the new year, haven't they, to be able to capitalise in the competitions they're still in. This one might just slip away from them. Sula. The giant striker they've got, Newcastle. This one Danish. Lost the ball, it's a throw which Pedro Porro wants to take. He's giving Osula the eyes. Pogba gives it away. And Porro jumps out the way. Goal kick. No foul. Pokes it back to Danso. Sa. Away by Tell. Joelinton. Slightly awkward there for Bruno Guimaraes. Trying to be clever, but goes down and holds his right foot. Oh, Tonali turning on the style. From he and his side's point of view, that ball wasn't curved a little further forward. Tonali. Certain confidence about this team now.
Yeah, really starting to enjoy themselves. Range of passing. Here knows how to play. When they get hurried, always finds a good pass forwards.
Elanga. Bruno Guimaraes. Elanga. It's the final ball that lets him down. There's something to be said for players maybe who wouldn't be getting the opportunities they want maybe in the league games, but aren't playing particularly well here tonight, but are being kept on. That's Simons and Elanga as well, the two managers trying to give them the chance to find that form. Just couldn't wriggle through there.
Yeah, I think so. I think you use it as an opportunity to give them time, and both players do need a bit of time.
Oh, and Joelinton and Kudus exchanging blows. Joelinton has to be careful here not to put a sour note on this night for his side that has been largely positive. Byrne trying to keep him away from the action. What has the referee seen? What is he going to decide here? Well, the yellow is out. Of course, no VAR here to show further angles of what happened.
It's not a good tackle, that's for sure. Kudus is well within his rights to let Joelinton know. I mean, it is a fair old matchup, that. Kudus, such a powerhouse, so strong, pound for pound, one of the strongest players in the Premier League, but this is not a particularly good tackle at all, and I can understand the reaction of Kudus, because Joelinton tries to leave it on him a little bit after as well.
Joelinton perhaps lucky there not to
Yeah,
pick up
I
a
agree.
second yellow.
I agree.
Which has been seen. 2 yellows in a short space of time for differing offences. Kudus going into the book as well.
It seems a bit unfair that Kudus gets the same level of punishment as Joelinton from the incident.
He was pushing and pulling and grabbing shirts after the challenge, Joelinton. Kudus is getting the boos here from the home fans. It's his cross though. He's trying to set up a grandstand finish, only 4 to go. Sula goes down. Newcastle free kick, and won't be in a rush here.
As well there as Sula. Just to bring that ball down, hold it up, look for the little layoff. They've done that well this evening, Newcastle. They've brought the midfield into play from the front players. Look to be progressive with their passing, always playing forwards if they can. Trying to apply pressure to Spurs.
Trippier. Joelinton, lovely chest to leave it for Elanga, who was challenged by Kudus, who's certainly up for the battle here now. Has just been yellow carded, and St James's Park baying for blood.
That's a really good decision from the referee. It's not a yellow card, it's a shoulder to shoulder with Kudus coming slightly from behind, which gives the foul, but it's nothing more than a foul.
Frustrations out there on both sides. Already through to the next round, a number of teams who played in the competition last night. Brentford handsome winners at Grimsby, Fulham who came through on penalties at Adams Park against Wickham, and Cardiff who won the All Wales affair against Wrexham. And tonight as well, Arsenal through, Crystal Palace through, Manchester City past Swansea, Chelsea as well. Looks like Newcastle will join them all in the last 8. Anthony Gordon will come on here. Anthony Elanga will come off. Well, it's been a mixed night for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's some good match minutes. I just feel he's not quite in that rhythm. It's always difficult when you come to a different club, and they played it such a specific way at Forest that really suited his game. It's going to take a little bit of time for Elanga to find his feet fully.
Jed Spence. It's nicely worked. Kolomuani, the Paris Saint-Germain loanee. Oh, and he hits the referee. Well, referee Chris Kavanagh will tell you that he has to start on the right, and as the attack goes forward, move to the left in his diagonal phase of play, but that wasn't the back heel there that Kolomuani was hoping for. Who's at fault there?
I don't think he expected him to cut back across, and actually I don't think he expected him to go past Joelinton so comfortably.
And a mistake by Kudus as the ball goes straight out of play, which again the St James's Park fans enjoyed. There's a big new complex outside the stadium now, made up of shipping crates that fans do enjoy post-match on weeknights as well. There might be a few going in for a swift one on the way home, I think, after another successful night here. 4 home wins in a row. Danso between 2. Simons nips in, wins the ball, but they've lost it now, and Gordon racing forwards. He gets the slightest of nicks on the ball.
Cleanest, was it, of the contact from Kinski, but gets enough on it.
4 additional minutes here for Newcastle to hold on for. Simons. Kudus. Spurs will be happy to get back home after 3 successive away games. in Monaco, Liverpool and here in Newcastle. They've got Chelsea to come. The tea time game on Saturday, Copenhagen in the Champions League on Tuesday, and then Manchester United, the visitors, next Saturday, so a chance to put things right. It's been an energy-sapping night, hasn't it? But Tonali has been a star man in midfield for Newcastle.
Yes, very rarely when he plays does he not feature for Newcastle. He's such a top player.
Burns flick. Danso hoists it into the air. His goal feels a lifetime ago in this game now.
Another pleasing thing for Eddie Howe is that he's been able to put Tonali in with Willock and Ramsey, and nothing's really dropped off in terms of the energy, the physicality, the work rate, the harassing of the opponent. They've all done it brilliantly.
Eddie Howe hoping to push his side deep into this competition again. A 3-1 quarter-final win against Thomas Frank's Brentford last season. Heading towards an 8th win in 10 games against Frank in all competitions, his most against any manager he's faced. Spence. Sarr. This was never going to beat Burn in the air. Mohamed Kudus. Porro. Kudus. Need to whip one. Have to do it on his right instead. Made it easy for Ramsdale. Definitely had the ball in his arms for more than 8 seconds. Those kind of situations in previous seasons where goalkeepers would dive on the ball right at the end of the game as to why they brought in that rule in the summer, but clearly not enforced this time. Clear push there on Barnes by Danso, who nearly got a flag in the eye as well.
Well, I don't know how he's complaining. It looked a clear shove for me. Doesn't need to get that tight. Barnes going absolutely nowhere into the corner flag.
Well, he made changes tonight, Thomas Frank. Maybe changes he felt he had to make, given the number of games they're playing at the moment. But they've come up comfortably short here in the northeast, and this will likely be the last attack of the game. Kieran Trippier against his former side. Can they round it off with a third? No, they can't. But through Newcastle United go. Comfortable 2-0 winners in the end against the Spurs side that had chances but didn't really make the most of them. Share in the first half with a header, and Voltemara 5 minutes into the second sealed the deal for Newcastle United, looking to retain the trophy they so famously lifted earlier on this year. Voltemara wants more cup success with his new team. He did so well tonight, the front end of the field for his team. Tottenham bow out at this stage. No fields of goals, but 2 we've had. So finishes here at St James's. Newcastle United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.